My name is Pete Rogers. I'm the equipment manager for the Nashville Predators. I've been here since 1998. I moved down from Rochester, New York, where I worked for the Rochester Americans in the American Hockey League for 9 years. When I started out doing this, I never, ever imagined that 20 years later I'd still be doing it. But you get to a point where I was in the minors, and if you don't graduate to the next level, you gotta do something else. I have a degree in communications from State University of New York, Brockport State, with a minor in sports medicine. After I graduated from college, I worked for the Hampton Roads Admirals, which is a new franchise in the East Coast League in 1989, 1990. I did that for a year. I told my father, if I don't get a job in a higher league, I'll go get a job doing something I went to school for. Not that going to school wasn't important, because the way this job is escalated into with the paperwork and budgeting and accounting, I think I would find it harder to do had I not had that training in accounting. But that being said, I was just telling your mother over here that the evolution of the way things have changed over the years, where we started out using wood sticks and now we're into graphite sticks, so the guys shoot the puck harder. Well, a direct result of guys shooting the puck harder, our guys get injured more. So our assistant equipment manager, Jeff Camilio, is always sewing pads on gloves and shoulder pads. There's always something. It's kind of like a cause and effect. But to tell you a little bit about what I do every day, I'm responsible for ordering every piece of equipment that is used by the team. Anything from the helmet down to the skates and anything in between there. And ordering the jerseys, ordering all the dry goods apparel. Most people think, oh, you're an equipment manager, you wash jocks every day. Well, that's part of it as well. I have two assistants that work under me that I don't consider assistants to do a great job. We're all equally invested in the success of the team. We all consider this to be our dream jobs. We have the best seat on the bench every night at the best game in the world. The downside of the job is the travel and being away from home and being away from your family. And we were in Raleigh yesterday, and we were in Washington, D.C. on Thursday. So, the week before we were in Anaheim, Los Angeles, San Jose, playing every other night. So the downside of that is, you're in different time zones, you're in different hotels, the travel, so for me, I'm responsible for moving the equipment from point A to point B. Our job is to make sure that equipment gets on the plane before the team gets there, so the team's not waiting for us. Just like at the arena, we try to replicate the locker room so that looks just like our room here in Nashville, so the guys are comfortable, because you're playing 41 road games as well as 41 home games. So you're on the road half the time. It just depends on the month, the week, where you're at in the schedule. But, I spend most of my days getting ready for the next day. Like, for example, we have a game tomorrow, so I'm in today getting skates ready for tomorrow. So when guys come in the morning, if something comes up, we're available and ready to do, so we can act upon what their needs are. Right now, we've got an expanded roster. We've got 26 players with us because we've had some injuries, and they're kind of rotating guys in and out. You hope that they're never rotating them out, because that would mean we're winning all the time, but playing as many games as we do, inevitably you're going to lose a few here and there. But again, one of my favorite parts of the job are the summers are nice. You get to spend time at home. The job has turned into a 12-month job, and unfortunately, these wonderful cell phones that are now computers, somebody can always get a hold of you, and you have to be able to be reached at all times. Not 24 hours, but just about. And for us in the summertime, we have a conditioning camp where we bring our draft picks in, and we get them acclimated to Nashville. We have a strength and conditioning coach that teaches them how to work out. A nutritionist teaches them how to eat. Our director of player development comes in, and all of our scouts are here. that drafted these fine players. So that's for a week in June. July's kind of quiet, and then August guys start coming in and skating, and then in September training camp starts and it goes all over again. Training camp, we have about 65 to 70 players here to stock. Our draft picks come in to stock Nashville. Milwaukee Admirals is our minor league team in the American Hockey League. So camp goes for about 3 weeks, and we kind of cut down a little bit every day. After a week or so, we play 5 or 6 exhibition games. Then the regular season starts, and we're off and running, playing 82 games over, 6, 7 months, maybe even 7, 8. It starts in October and ends the second week of April, and then, hopefully you're lucky enough to make the playoffs. You could be playing. The hope is that you play an extra 2 months, to compete for the Stanley Cup. But usually after the season ends, you need some time to decompress because you're going so hard every day. Playing games every other night and preparing in between can be very taxing. It's very taxing on the players. It's taxing on us, and we're not even playing. So, but growing up, hockey was always my favorite sport, hockey and golf. Again, like I said earlier, I never imagined I'd be doing this full time. I wanted to, but with only 30 NHL teams, there's only so many jobs. I was fortunate enough to end up in Nashville by way of my team in Rochester. We played Barry Trotz's team in the Calder Cup Finals in 95-96 season. We beat them in the 7th game, and I became friends with Barry and Paul Gardner and the trainer Dan Redmond. So when this job came open, I came down and interviewed for it, and I was fortunate enough to get it. But I don't know if I would have gotten the job had we not played them and got to know those guys in the playoffs, because it's such a small, tight-knit community hockey. There's only so many jobs. So, but and again, we moved to Nashville in '98, so that's our 19th year here, which is hard to imagine when you think about it. But would I say it's my dream job growing up? It probably was, because I was a stick boy in Rochester probably when I was in 9th or 10th grade. Again, never thinking to be something I would do full time. I just enjoyed doing it. It's a job where a kid just can't say, hey, this is something I want to do this. I want to learn how to do it. You almost have to grow up doing it, because the hours are so crazy. It's not a normal job. The locker room can be a tough environment. You have to be able to, everybody's always joking, and to put it nicely, you have to be able to handle that. So not all people can handle being in the locker room every day.